Hey guys, today on Real Estate with Chika, we're going to be discussing super mind-blowing and exciting stuff. If you remember, I attended the celebration event yesterday, and the celebration event is just an event for realtors to come together and share industry insights and look at, what's happening right now and what will happen in the future. And the premise of everything that we talked about yesterday and discussed was talking about new towns, new town development, and future cities. Now, I know you're wondering, what do you mean by new town, new cities, future cities? Well, here's what it is, right? According to statistics, it has been predicted that by 2050, 75% of the global population of people will be living in urban areas and urban cities. Now, think about that for a minute. 2050, 75% of our population, for instance, say in Nigeria, right? Our population currently stands at 198 million. So what we're saying is by 2050, 75% of 198 million Nigerians will be living in cities. And I mean cities like Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and other key cities. Think about the amount of pressure that would put on those cities to support that amount of population, whether it's in natural resources, infrastructure, healthcare, feeding, quality of life, per capita income, earning power. It is absolutely not going to work. The cities that we have right now, as we know it, cannot withstand the pressure and cannot cater adequately to that amount and that sheer amount of population. And that is why we need to start to think about new towns and new cities. We need to begin to intentionally conceptualize and set the footprints for what new towns and new cities would look like. So that way, when we set up these new cities, we can transition people away from this over jam-packed and overpopulated big cities and move them into these cities where they'll enjoy highly significant quality life or quality living, whether it's in how they live, the energy, the air, feeding, transportation, everything, just speaks to true planning and, quality living, right? And this can only be achieved by employing greenery and technology. So essentially, the Future City project is saying, right now, we recognize that our current cities are not enough. They cannot adequately cater to the issue of global urbanization. So what can we do to ensure that we can create new cities, future cities for the future, that can actually function and be truly sustainable for the next generation to come, using tech and green living to drive these cities to the highest efficiency? That's essentially what Future City is about. And we talked about setting key features, distinctive and highly interesting features that will, mark the Future City project. I'm going to take some time to walk you through the entire thing. It is really exciting, and I'm sure for many investors, this is absolutely going to be worth your attention and worth your time. So please follow me. Be patient, but follow me as I walk you through the concept of the Future City right here in the city of Lagos. It is often said that the best way to create the future is to predict it. And so with Future City, we are essentially predicting the future and setting the initial footprints for what a future city should look like. So when we get to the future, we already have the conceptualization that's required and the implementation to ensure that a future city meets all of the needs of future populations. That's essentially what the Future City is, right? Building smarter and more efficient cities that can help to enhance or preserve our already fragile ecosystem, and ensuring that people can live better lives through the use of innovation driven by tech and greenery. Now, I'm sure you're wondering who is floating this project, the Future City. Or the Future City is being floated or developed by one of the biggest and most renowned and trusted developers right here in Lagos. Their precedence sets them apart, of course. They have the track record, they built capacity, they've delivered over 2,000 housing units in Lagos alone, and they're set to do even more laudable things. So they actually have the integrity, the capacity, and the know-how to pull this particular project off. And so we are super excited for the Future City. It's a beautiful fusion of nature's green and mankind's technological know-how. For the launch of the Future Cities, we're looking at 5 key locations for starters. We're looking at Lagos Lagoon, Badagry, Mowe, Ekpe, and the Lagos Lagoon. So 5 key locations to start, and we're going to be starting out the future cities in district. So let's look at some of the features and glowing hallmarks of the future city. One is the transport systems. So for a future city, transport systems must absolutely be comfortable, must be convenient and accessible, as well as safe, right? So for the future city, would be employing the highest and best use of AI softwares to ensure that we can use enhanced algorithms to govern or direct urban traffic systems, pick-up locations for public transport systems, electric cars and charging ports where public cars or public transport cars can charge and run and pick up passengers, as well as public driven vehicles. So all of this is a holistic look at transport systems to say, hey, how can we do transport better? How can we ensure that navigation systems in urban cities are easier? You can figure out which routes not to take when there's heavy gridlock of traffic, and you can figure out the best routes for you. And then for energy, of course, energy is a very big conversation in talking about building sustainable cities, right? So the goal is to by far and by large reduce carbon emissions and gas house emissions. So of course, the use of electric cars, like I mentioned before, the use of electric scooters, right? It's an easy, convenient and fun way to get from point A to point B. So think about a system or city where you never have to see the trail of smoke go up in the air, either from exhaust fumes from cars or from using generators. Think about an environment or a home where you don't even know what a generator is anymore. You don't know what it sounds like. The entire home, the entire estate environment, the entire city is powered by solar. You can enjoy natural sunlight in all of its mediums. That's what we talk about when we say green energy, right? Now let's talk about the farmhouse of the future, right? According to statistics, more than 50% of our population live in rural areas. And so what that means is we're heavily dependent. The economy is heavily dependent on agriculture as a means of livelihood. Now, for farmhouse of the future, think about farming and agricultural systems where we can deploy innovation and technology to drive supply, increase output for agricultural products, where we can, minimize post-harvest losses. We can help farmers access cheaper and more accessible products. It's just a holistic way of looking at agriculture. Think about a system or city where you can actually enjoy food fresh from the farm to your doorstep. So it's fresher food, it's cleaner food, the less use of pesticides and other harmful preservatives for your food. It's you being able to improve the quality of your life and your health by what you eat. And of course, there is the concept of smart living in a future city. There's a smarter way to live, right? Accessing your home, security in the entire environment, how you live from day to day, simple basic functions you carry out in your home. If it's automated and it's out of your control, but you can still control it with the touch of a button, everything just works. Voice response systems. This is essentially what the future is about, ensuring that you can live a simpler life by delegating complex or simple tasks to technology, right? And then we have to speak about recharge and drive, still speaking on the subject of carbon emissions to the environment. So, of course, the future city is going to have tons and tons of charging decks. Electric cars are a thing, actually, the only thing right here at the future city. So you plug your cars at the charging docks, you can charge your car. Think about a situation where you never have to use fuel to fuel or power your cars. Like your cars can move just by charging overnight, and you can get from point A to point B, zero noise, zero sound, zero pollution. How wonderful is that? And then of course we have the commercial centers, right? So think about a city where the economy is self-sustaining thanks to it having its own vibrant commercial buzz. So you have malls, you have shopping districts, you have companies, you have business centers and business areas. Now let's put all of this together, everything that we have talked about. Of course, we have mentioned that statistics is saying that by 2040, 2/3 of the world's population will live in cities. Now, the cities that we know are the cities we've known for quite some time, right? For instance, in Lagos, you and I know where the cities are, where people move to and migrate to on a daily basis. Now, think about the fact that by 2040, 2/3 of our population will be in the cities where you and I currently live. Think about the impacts to the resources, to the infrastructure. So what will those cities look like at that time if we continue to move on with the cities that we currently have and just that only? Would we really be able to live and thrive and exist what would life look like? And this is why we need to rethink the concept of cities and towns. We need to discover and find new cities. But while we're finding new cities, we need to adequately plan and structure the cities to be sustainable using green and technology. And so it's very important that you jump in on this future city project. It's absolutely exciting stuff. Now, the question is, why should you become a citizen of the future city? Like, why should you invest in this concept and this reality of a future city? First of all, you have early mover advantage. You can invest and hold. So the future city project is a 5-year has a 5-year timeline until activation. So if you invest now, you have a holding period for 5 years until we activate the future city proper. Now, what that means is you can choose to hold your investment until the 4-year mark. And if you intend to resell, we have a buyback scheme. We can buy it back for you at the appreciation value rate of that investment. So we can buy back from you at appreciation value rate, or you can choose to say, okay, I'm not selling, I'm holding on. And then you hold on to the 5th year when we actually activate. Now, you have that advantage as an early mover when you invest right now in the future cities. Of course, we've talked about green energy. Green energy is cheaper, it's safer, it does more good to you, to your children, to the economy, to the system, to the environment, right? Of course, we have everything steeped in nature. Nature powers everything good. And of course, we have sustainable infrastructure. So the infrastructure we have will continue to subsist and survive for the longest time, and good appreciation potential. Think about the appreciation value of an investment in the future city. If you own a piece of land in this future city, when the future is here, and this is why really and truly you should become a citizen of the future city. Now, what will drive appreciation? This is where we talk numbers and make sense of it all. What will drive appreciation for your investment right here at the future city? Have you heard of the Lagos State Rail Project? The blue line, the red line, it's coming to this axis. And you know what rail systems and rail transport systems can do for any economy or for any particular location. We also have the proposed international airport. There's been much talk about this, but really we are nearing implementation stages. So it's important that you jump in. This is one of the key drivers of appreciation right here in this axis where we'll be having the future city. Of course, increased migration activities. As soon as this kickstarts, and as we continue to see that cities continue to explode, migration will continue to happen in these key areas. And of course, we have low capital expenditure for your investment, and there is a 30% growth in population that's going to happen in the next 10 years according to research. Know that where the people are going, that's where you should go as a real estate investor, right? Where the crowd goes, you should go. Where people are moving, you go there before then and wait for that. Of course, there's so many emerging commercial activities and also infrastructure development. These are the key drivers for your investment at the future city, and these are the reasons why you absolutely have to invest here. So let me walk you through the initial timelines, right? Right now we have the reservation period. So we're currently in the reservation period. Right now you can reserve your plots at the future city. The launch date is September 15th. So September 15th, we launch our future city proper. Remember, like I said before, it's a 5-year timeline until activation. So we are going to activate this project in September 2027. Right, so let's talk money, right? Right now, if you choose to invest, we have a pre-launch price and a launch price. Remember, I said right now you can reserve plots. We launch September 15th. So right now, if you invest right now up until the 15th of September, you get to invest at the rate of 14,000 naira per square meter, and you can invest in either 300 or 500 square meter. If you wait till the 15th of September launch date, you would have to buy or invest at 24,000 naira per square meter. So right now is the time to jump on this incredible investment offer right here at the future city. With only 3 million naira as initial deposit, you can secure your plot, but please start to reserve your plot right now before the launch date, which is September 15th. 3 million naira is all you need to lock an investment for either 300 or 500 square meters, and you can spread the rest of the payments for over 2 years. No interest rates. How wonderful is that? Now, let me even blow your mind even further, right? The projection timelines for appreciation in the next 5 years. So let's say you invest right now. In the course of 5 years or at the 5th year mark, your investment is set to have appreciated between anywhere from 120% to over 200%. 120% to 200% appreciation rate is what you get to enjoy as an investor in the future city in 5 years. Like, think about all the things we've talked about in terms of ensuring that we can have cities that are planned, that are sustainable, that run thanks to tech and green living. We can now take charge of our cities and say, hey, this is what we want our cities to look like. Nothing substandard will do. You can look at our city from the skyline and say, yes, this is the plan, this is the vision for how we want our cities to be, to thrive and to bloom. Beyond us, our children and our children's children will get to enjoy living in cities that are planned. They can live the best quality of life from new and emerging cities, and not just the cities that currently exist. It's a laudable, highly visionary project, and I can't wait for you to be a citizen at the future city. I look forward myself to being a citizen at the future city. So I urge you all, reach out to me right now so we can start to reserve your plots. Plots are quickly selling before the 15th of September. Beyond just the concept of making money as an investor, it's important that you pay attention to how we can give back to the communities around us, how we can give back to our planet. We know this is the only planet we have right now. This is the only planet right now where life can exist, right? And so we have to take great care of our planet. And it really starts by taking care of the communities around us, by planning and adequately with foresight, rethinking how our cities should be set up, how they should be structured, how they should run in terms of smartness, efficiency, green living, enhanced living, cleaner living. It's going to do us, you and I, so much good, and of course do the planet by extension good as well. So with everything that we have shared, take the time to think about it, review it, share this video with your friends and loved ones, and let us come together and let us begin to build future cities that you and I and our children to come will be proud of. I can't wait to hear from you, and I can't wait to see you emerge as a citizen of the future city. Ciao.